Assalamu alaikum. We're going to speak about Elacestrant or Orserdu in pharmaceutical science seminar. Before we start, I'm Hiba Khalifa and Yasmin Faisal. We're going to speak about some concepts and definitions that help us to understand the mechanism and different things about this Elacestrant. First of all, we're going to speak about breast cancer, estrogen receptor. Breast cancer, it's a form of cancer characterized by uncontrolled growth of abnormal cells within the breast. Then we're going to speak about the estrogen. Estrogen, it's a hormone predominantly produced by the ovaries for females, and in lesser extent in the testes of the males, play a crucial role in developing and regulation of the female reproductive system and secondary sex characteristics. Then we're going to speak about estrogen receptor AR, which is a protein situated inside the cells and activated by estrogen. Any this regulation in the estrogen receptor is associated with various diseases, including breast and ovarian cancer. So we're going to start with Elacestrant.
Okay, hi everyone. Now let's talk about our drug, Elacestrant, which known as Orserdu. As introduction, Elacestrant is a new chemical drug which has been approved on January 27, 2023 for breast cancer disease, marketed under the brand name Orserdu. The class is selective estrogen receptor modulators. Elacestrant profoundly alters and breaks down the estrogen receptor, which inhibits gene transcription, halting the process and preventing the spread of cancer.
About the story of Elacestrant. The story of Elacestrant, we have three different dates. First date is June 2006, we have July 2020, we have January 27, 2023. First of all, Elacestrant was originally discovered by ESA before being licensed to Radius Health in June 2006. Then in July 2020, Manuelani Group and Radius Health signed an exclusive worldwide license agreement for creation and sale of Elacestrant. After the Emerald Phase 3 study is concluded and assuming successful outcomes, Elacestrant successfully registered and the Manuelani Group will oversee the global commercialization of the drug. And in 2023, in January 27, United States approved Elacestrant for treatment of advanced or metastatic breast cancer with disease progression after at least one course of endocrine therapy.
Okay, the structure activity relationship of our drug is hydroxy group of tetrahydronaphthalene and the amine groups. Hydroxyl group of tetrahydronaphthalene will be attached to the glutathione via hydrogen bond, and the amine groups will be attached to the arginine. And the distance between the arginine and the amine group it will be 1.8, and the second one is aspartate, also via a hydrogen bond. Here we see that the glutathione is attached to the OH group here, and the arginine here is far away from the amine group, and the distance will be 1.8. Okay, and the last one is arginine. Here is attached to the amine group.
Okay, what about the Elacestrant synthesis? We can see here in the picture, Elacestrant synthesis steps begin with 7-benzoyloxy, 3-bromo, 1,2-dihydrophthalene, end up with Elacestrant, as you can see in the picture.
Now, the mechanism of action. Estrogen receptor is a protein found inside cells and activated by the hormone estrogen. Estrogen receptor dysregulation has been suggested breast cancer. The term estrogen receptor alpha and estrogen receptor beta refer to two different types of estrogen receptors, which is slightly different activities. Elacestrant attach itself to the estrogen receptors alpha, which is an estrogen receptor's antagonist. In estrogen receptor positive, HER2 negative breast cancer cells, Elacestrant inhibited the proliferation of cells driven by 17 estradiol to the extent that estrogen receptor protein degradation occurred through the proteasomal route. Okay, here in the picture, we have Orserdu. Orserdu is dose dependent. So at low doses, act as selective estrogen receptor modulators, and modulated estrogen receptor will prevent the gene transcription. At high dose, it will be act as selective estrogen receptor degradation, and the receptor will be degraded at all.
Okay, what about the indication and the dosing of Orserdu? As we know, elacestrant is dose dependent. So in high dose will act as something, and in low dose will act as something. So at low doses, it will be as a SERM, which is a selective estrogen receptor modulator. But at high dose, it will be as SERD, which is a selective estrogen receptor degraders. What about the oral administration? It has two doses, 345 and 86. 345 it used usually as once daily with food, unless toxicity develops or disease worsening. But we use 86 milligram tablet after a severe adverse reaction like dyslipidemia, which is the most side effect of elacestrant, which is more than 12%.
Now we will talk about clinical trials that have been conducted. Phase 3 clinical trials of Elacestrant were conducted in the Emerald trial, an international multi-center randomized active controlled open label study that compared the safety profile and efficacy of Elacestrant to the Fulvestrant. Fulvestrant is a hormone therapy. Here in the picture, we see that on August 2014, phase 1 trials have been initiated. And then our phase 3 study is on 2019.
Okay, what about the drug future? As Emerald study said, the drug has a good future for breast cancer treatment. Why? Because it's used in postmenopausal women and adult men with estrogen receptor positive and a human and a human growth factor receptor negative advanced or metastatic breast cancer enrolled in randomized open label multinational phase 3 study. Oral elacestrant monotherapy significantly decreased the risk of disease progression or disease compared to a standard of care SOC monotherapy. Elacestrant was created in response to the advancement of the disease in endocrine therapy treated patients with metastatic breast cancer that tested positive for estrogen receptor.
Okay, our opinion is this drug has a promising future in the treatment of breast cancer. Thank you.
Thank you.